Yeah, I mean, look, consumer confidence just had the biggest drop, I think, in 40 or 50 years. If you look at like right track, wrong track polling for the country, only something like 24% believes that the country is on the right track right now. If you poll people, are we in a recession? And they don't look at the quarter over quarter growth. They just look at what they're feeling. 56% of the country says we're already in recession. It's about 70% Republicans, about 50% Democrats. So the country is already hurting. People are already feeling it. And this is
it psychological, Sachs, or are they actually making decisions now to spend less?
Well, I think it's both. I mean, you start with the real inflation and people feel it, and they also hear about it in the media, and then they start to adjust their decisions. And this is the problem with fixing. Yeah, this is the problem with fixing an inflation problem, is that it's based on expectations. So once people start to expect inflation, then businesses have to start operating as if there's going to be an inflation rate next year. So they have to start raising prices. And it's actually very hard to put the horse back in the barn. And this is why I think the Fed is probably more likely to overshoot on raising rates, is because if they really want to stop inflation now, they really have to slam on the brakes. And then that's going to lead to a recession. And if they don't, then we end up with like a chronic sort of stagflationary situation where you get lower growth and inflation persists. So it's a bunch of bad options right now. And I think to the point Friedberg was making earlier, this Ray Dalio piece that he just published as a blog on LinkedIn, he said, look, what you want is a Fed that is alert at the wheel and gently applies the accelerator or the brakes based on what's happening. And instead, what we had is the Fed was asleep at the wheel. They should have started reacting gently to inflation last summer. Instead, they waited 9 months, and now they're slamming on the brakes. And this is a bunch of bad options. I think we are going to have a recession.